do. We are going live. Hey, everybody, it's showtime. Showtime, and I'm a giant nerd. All right.
Do. Oh, yeah.
Ready to go live. Hello, everybody. It's a dinosaur. His name's Rex and blah 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 bloop. Do. Yeah! Tonight's live stream is sponsored by Poketo, Castle Siege, Starforge, and Blessed Dark hit Kickstarter October 15th. And actually, just so everybody knows, that Kickstarter is live for Poketo. And it has funded. And also, we're going to be talking about some other Kickstarter that recently funded. What's it called? Lost Ones, which is currently, I just saw the dollar thing go up when I was loading it up. It's already funded with 13 days to go. So, we're going to be talking about that tonight too. But hey, everybody, welcome. It's Chris from the Charity Board Gamer. We're talking with Julie Ahern from Greenbrier Games. We're going to be also, if you haven't had a chance to see her and Rachel Blasky on Fridays, they have an amazing kind of like a weekly show, which is called You're Invited, which talks about some of the board game topics going on, things going on in the industry, and even good tips and tricks for those who are in the industry or even maybe content creators and things of that nature. But just a little bit about Julie. Julie is once was a big fangirl gamer who went into gaming. And so I'm super excited to be able to have this time to talk. And so Julie, say hello.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. Oh, what is this? Oh, Jason. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. Jason has done a lot of demonstrations with me in the past for what was it? We did one at Origins for the Op. We did it for Origins 2019. Nice. Met him. We stayed in the same hotel room. And I think we had 3 CPAPs going on at the same time. So it sounded like Darth Vader. Going, trying to survive. But yeah, great time though. Had a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Lost Ones. We're going to be talking about Black Girls Code. We're going to talk about whatever Julie wants to talk about because she's our guest. So Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Kind of what led you into going into the board game industry. From the board game hobby, because I know that was something that was a transition. Yeah. And you've been doing this for what? How many years now with Greenbrier Games?
Greenbrier Games, we're going to be celebrating a decade of being a company here soon. So that's a thing that happened in my life.
That is awesome.
So I've always played board games, and I was playing second edition D&D. Started about 4th, 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And I was a teacher. My master's, I wrote my dissertation was how incorporating board games into education can help reach all different types of learners. And turns out that there were people actually, I guess, educators or administrators actually read some of those master program dissertations because my friend Kate and I both got hired by the same school that was was the lowest in the district for testing, and basically said, so we read your stuff and we want you to try it.
Okay. So so how did it go teaching using the board games and using that? Because I know a lot of times we've seen things like there's board games that can help teach with multiplication. There's board games that can help
so teaching does board games do a lot of things. You're doing reading and having to apply that reading of instructions at the very least. So you're doing reading instructions to do an activity, which is exactly what testing is, just at a much, much more boring level, hopefully. So taking information, reading it, analyzing it, interpreting it, and then following through with what the directions are. So that alone, for testing purposes, which was what they were focusing on, is something that helps people. It's also helping you to learn how to read, because you want to be able to read to the whatever grade level that game is, so that you understand how you're playing. Obviously, a lot of math skills are involved in board games for a lot of point scoring, and so it's a lot of basic math facts, learning a lot of math and being able to do mental math. And then it also helps with all those interpersonal skills, where you're reflecting on how you feel because a game gets you frustrated, and are you taking that on other players? Are you somebody who wants to work cooperatively? Are you somebody who likes to do a lot of take that? That all helps you be a little bit more self-reflective as a person and how you interact with other people. And hopefully you're taking it out on the game and not on other people, so you can work through some things in a very a safer kind of bubble. So at a basic level, they're doing all those things that, and of course, a lot of games have a lot of additional, depending on, think of Genius games, where it's all science oriented. A lot of the games we do are all narrative driven. So it's a lot about storytelling and what is a good arc for a story. So it just depends on what additional embellishments you get as a skill. So I was writing and designing board games with Kate for, I was a teacher for 12 years, and we were together for my first 4 years of teaching, and developed, designed, and some of them were published, educational games for our district, and then a couple of them went statewide for the social studies stuff. So
that's really cool.
Churning a lot of games, and of course a lot of it is helping practice, especially for education. A lot of that rote memorization, but trying to do it in a way that's more fun and engaging, because if you're doing something that's fun and engaging, you want to do it more. So yeah, I've done a lot of a lot of things that are basically flashcards put to a board game, and that was fine. Those are, but it's something that you can do, something that at least gets people doing that rote memorization without having to just do the flashcards without any other additional motivation. But then we also did things like I did an Oregon Trail RPG using the GURPS system.
Okay.
And I did a Ellis Island LARP, which was probably my favorite, because I would get all of the parents and extended family to be my NPCs. That's
really cool.
Yeah. So it pulled a lot of people in and gave kids a better understanding of what the immigration process is like, because we would do it, Ellis Island, all the steps of what Ellis Island were, but inevitably somebody in the family of somebody's family had gone through the process, because this was New England near Boston. So there's a very high immigrant population there. So every year we could then go through and then have somebody say, so this is how it was for me, which is different than it was at Ellis Island, but still, what are the similarities? What are the differences? And that was always a really fun experience, because they had just gone through it, and it was very stressful for kids. We had a lot of, you were allowed to tap out. You were allowed to this isn't fun for me, but it gave them a lot of empathy for what the process was like for other kids, other adults, what that might have been like when they didn't have to do that themselves.
So I real quick, I'm just going to let a couple people say hi. Paul's on here. Rachel's on here as well.
Yay, I'll see you later.
Be on here. But yeah, and then of course Jason said that his daughter really enhanced her reading skills while playing Hogwarts Battle, and she wouldn't help her read the cards unless it was a spell name or a hard word. Yeah, Alohomora is not a word that I enjoy. She was struggling with the reading before. That is awesome. Yeah. We executive function and goal-driven persistence. Yeah. No. So when you're teaching, let me ask this question: what about some of the more tougher, harder topics, maybe in history? Like, I know that there is a board game based on the Underground Railroad, which I've heard of. But how did you address maybe some of these historical aspects and teach that history to the kids? I'm curious.
So
Maybe for me as a parent, where it's like, hey, we could play this game and have some fun doing that, but at the same time get a nice well-rounding of
I'm a hit
understanding.
thing head-on kind of person.
Okay.
So first, my master's was from the College of William and Mary, and so we were right
Williamsburg,
next to,
Virginia.
Yes,
Okay.
Colonial Williamsburg, and
Okay.
one of our programs was in partnership with them, and so we were in breakout groups. That there were like 3 per group of master's degree students who were developing field trips.
Mm-hmm.
So that we were working in partnership with them to develop field trips that could be part of their program, that teachers could request that package, or and of course. So to give you an indication, and Kate and I so we were both in the master's program together, and so it was us and poor John, who just kind of was like, whatever you guys want to do, because I clearly have no say in this. So they were like, carte blanche. What specific part of Colonial Williamsburg do you want to do? And we were like, we want to do something with what the slave life was like. We would like, we were looking at your online stuff, and that doesn't seem represented enough.
No, I mean,
we'd like to handle that, please. And of course, doing that means that you're working with, the historians who are experts in that. And the head of the program was this very amazing, very intense person who, wanted to make sure that we were doing it right, that we were not, that it wasn't going to be a self-serving pat on the back, that it really was taking on what was that like, and how the arc of the life of somebody who was a person of color in the United States changed over time, and what that experience would be like at a certain point in history.
Oh, and you have a lot of rich history in Virginia. You've got
Tons.
Williamsburg, Yorktown's not even 30 minutes away. Newport News area, Hampton Roads. Hampton Roads has a college around that area. I forget. Is it Brown College? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. And then you have Mount Vernon, which if you go up towards the DC area.
Right.
But yeah, Richmond.
So it's Newport News, Yorktown, and Jamestown are the historic triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did a program, field trip one for Jamestown as well. So yes, so that's for me. It's always at the beginning of something like that. And of course, yes, there's certain levels of age appropriate, but also, kids are curious and are going to want to ask questions, and are going to want to be allowed to feel things about it. We spend a lot of time teaching children what are right and wrong. And then when you say, well, this happened, and they say, but haven't you always told me that's wrong? That's uncomfortable. And most people want to shy away from that uncomfortable conversation. And it's not less uncomfortable for me. I just know that if I'm uncomfortable, then that's a good thing to examine. So, with kids, I would say, okay, we're learning about the Civil War, and this is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of you. And I know that it's going to take a lot to handle it, and we can go slow, and we can talk about it, and we can take a step back and examine things. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of emails from your parents, but I trust that we don't have to do everything completely superficial, so that we can actually get a better perspective, so that when you become an adult, you can also make better choices than a lot of people have historically.
And
they would say, cool. And that's how we would do it. So I loved teaching, and I loved, because I will say it was 4th grade, probably mostly, and sometimes up to 6th grade, a couple of years in 3rd grade. And they had great questions, and they are hard questions, and they're the questions that people should always be asking. So if you can't answer to a 10-year-old, how are you going to do it to another adult?
Very true. Very true. No, I find that the history, like, we lived in Newport News for some time. My wife grew up in that area, and then we lived there.
You lived in Newport News?
Yeah,
that's where I lived.
Really? Yeah. Wife went to Menchville High School. So
nice.
Yep, Menchville High School. Then she attended CNU, and then she attended a college in Virginia around Lynchburg area. And she and I met. And then, yeah, we moved back to the Newport News area, lived there for some time, and I have family that still live there. We were actually there last week. Yeah, we stopped in Williamsburg. When of course, have to go to the Yankee Candle whenever you're in the area, because that's one of the flagship stores. And then we headed down to Virginia Beach, just kind of relaxed, sat on the ocean, just kind of with our feet in the sand, and had a good time. Yeah, last week was a much needed getaway. We actually visited Gettysburg. We did some historical, some trips. We actually toured Gettysburg. Then the very next day we went to DC, to the Arlington National Cemetery. And we had a couple other spots along there. What was it? Lincoln Memorial. We actually went up Washington's monument. We talked a little bit about Eliza, because that was one of the people that actually raised funds. And I think that's always, I love the fact that Hamilton, the musical really did highlight the end, that the reason why we know as much as we do about Alexander Hamilton and even have more understanding of who Washington was because of his wife. It's
Right.
what it was. And we actually did a lot of studying when we watched it with the kids. We took the time and we're like, okay, these are the things that were not that are not in the play that you need to know
Artistic
about.
liberties were taken.
like Hamilton had 8 kids. So and of course I think after Philip died, his daughter had like almost a mental breakdown, and would only whenever anybody would mention it, I think she would play on the piano and stuff like that, which was interesting. So
I went to undergrad at Catholic University in DC.
Okay.
So, was this your first time visiting DC, or have you been before?
No, I've been to DC a couple times. One time, I'm trying to remember all the times. I went there when I was in high school. Beth and I went there another time before that, because we went to go see some friends that lived in Falls Church. We went to the zoo one time, and then we actually saw the Wiggles, because, our daughter was young at the time. You go see the Wiggles over at I forget what
age. That is what you do. Yeah,
yep,
so
that is exactly what it was.
Yeah, undergrad was at Catholic University, and while I was there, I was an intern at the Children's Theater at the Smithsonian.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was super fun because you got a pass that let you go through. There's actually a little rabbit warden of things underneath the mall.
Yeah.
To get from one of the museums to the other. So you can get through all of the museums without ever going up and out where the public is, if you know the paths. And that's
when I was around there during high school, it was during Clinton's impeachment hearings.
Yep.
And I got lost in the Capitol building at that time. So that was my fun experience, because I got stuck behind my group, because we actually we met what was it, the senator for our area, Ralph Regula, I think it was at the time, for Ohio. We met him. We went underneath from the little tunnels that actually take you to the Capitol building and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they have those as well. So if you think of underneath the ground of all of that whole area of DC, I like to think of it as like if you have a hamster, like those massive hamster tunnels that have, or the wooden beads that are on the wires.
Yes.
That kids play with, and it's different colors, and they go to different ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's those, but like some are for the Smithsonian and some are for the government. And you're underneath, and you're like, I wonder what's like right there or right through that wall, because they had to have been all interconnected.
Well, I mean, you look at the metro system. The metro system for DC, I think there's like five different lines. You've got the red line, the yellow line, the blue line, the gray line, and pretty sure I got one wrong.
There's orange.
Yeah, the orange. So yeah, you've got all these different lines going through all different parts of DC, and they all meet at the Metro Center, which is green. I think I said red, but it's green.
No, there's a red line because University.
So there's 6. Yeah, then there must be 6. Yeah, because silver, blue, yellow, green, red, orange. Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't remember. Hey, if somebody from DC wants to correct me, please let me know. Jesse from Quackalope, just give me a shout. Let me know later.
Solid.
So, gosh, or Jan. But yeah, no, it's we had a blast going back to DC. Of course, a lot of stuff was closed off. A lot of different precautions were being taken. You couldn't see everything. You could still see the changing of the unknown soldier, the guards.
Right.
They do that about every hour. So we were lucky enough to get there in enough time, but they had closed off the main building and the amphitheater for it. So that's the only thing that we missed seeing.
So when you go back, my recommendation is to go find the Albert Einstein Memorial.
Okay.
Because it's across the street. It's not on the main. So it's near the Museum of Arts and Sciences, and he's huge, and you can climb all over him. Like, you can't touch everybody else, but his is not like blocked off and everything. So I have Christmas pictures for the years that I was in undergrad. Every year I would go like sit on his shoulder and put my arm around him and take a picture, and that would be like my Christmas card that I'd send out. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's just me and Albert. It's cool.
Yeah. Hey, Einstein's cool. I like science is always interesting. I always found physics was one of my favorite classes. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about it was then I could apply it to video game understanding. Like, mass times acceleration to the third power equals the Triforce, which is Zelda, Triforce. So, yeah. Yeah, that's real science. Look it up, kids. Yeah. No, but yeah, so craziness. So tell us about the Lost Ones. I know we've been enjoying this so far, just talking about DC, and oh gosh, yeah, but I remember William & Mary, beautiful college. Amazing acoustics for music. There's that one hall that I remember going into and hearing some beautiful voices. There's a 16-part, and it was interesting because each voice had a different part. So you had a bass 1, bass 2, or basically a bass 1 baritone, and then you had the tenor 1, tenor 2, and then everybody else. So
everybody else?
I'm sorry, I'm a baritone / tenor. So
contralto.
Yeah, you got your contralto. Yeah, you got your alto.
Come on now.
They're okay. They're okay. But I did a bachelor's in music, and it was a lot of fun. So
everybody always tells me these wonderful things about William and Mary.
You never saw them?
So I was in a master's program that was a specific. So I was an undergrad. I worked at the Smithsonian for a little bit after I got out of college, and then I applied. So I applied for a program that was for a master's in education, where you did an accelerated program because you had already been out in the workforce for a while. So it was summer, fall, spring, summer, so that it was basically 1 year and you could be teaching.
Oh, wow.
Because my undergraduate degree had been in theater and a minor in biology. And so there were only 14 of us, and it was very concentrated and very intense, which meant the only thing I ever saw of William and Mary, we got to go to like Colonial Williamsburg because I was working on a program, it wasn't because I got to go see it. It was because it was like, okay, meet with this person, talk about this stuff, do the tour of this thing, analyze it. There was no like hang out, go to Busch Gardens, none of that. There was
my gosh, no Busch Gardens.
No Busch Gardens.
That's wrong.
Busch Gardens.
Okay.
But people tell me how beautiful the campus was. There were 2 buildings that all my classes were in, the library, and then there was a little kiosk that sold sandwiches that was in between them. That is all I know of William and Mary. I went and took a tour later, like years later. I had a friend whose daughter wanted to go and didn't want her parents there, and they were like, well, Julie's there. Can you just, they agreed to let her go by herself, but I was her adult to go look at the college, and they did the tour. So this is, by then I had graduated. I was teaching in Newport News, and I remember walking around being like, this is great, look at how lovely it is. She's like, I thought my parents were going to be bad. Why did I say you could come? Because I spent the whole time being like, this is lovely, this is really nice.
I love it. No, it's such a nice college to look at. Now it's interesting, and it's a very drastic difference because you'll go to William and Mary. It's very revolutionary war in style and structure. And then you'll go over to Christopher Newport, which is so contemporary. And they've got the Ferguson Center, which the Ferguson Center has blown up. It's this amazing music hall.
It's gorgeous.
I've
been there.
Yeah, you can see some great concerts there. I mean, I saw a Blue Man Group. They've had a lot of holiday pops things. And of course, the Ella Fitzgerald, like the celebration, like they have it every year. It's Ella Fitzgerald, of course, grew up in Newport News. And so that's her home. And so everybody celebrates it every year, a year of her life.
Very nice.
Yeah, very cool. I think we could just seriously talk about Virginia for the rest of the
I know. I'm like, I should talk about Lost Ones, but now I want to talk about Christopher Newport, who was Captain Hook. I don't like.
Yeah.
Squirrel. For anybody who doesn't know that, Christopher Newport was the captain who took people back and forth to Jamestown. He did 3 trips, and he had a hook for a hand, and he was kind of, because he made enough money, tolerated in British society, and because he was a very colorful personality, he is the inspiration for Captain Hook and Peter Pan.
Yep, Captain Hook. That's right.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna pull up Lost Ones so we don't get more off track, but we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this. Tell us about Lost Ones.
I would love. So yes, Lost Ones is our most recent game, and I love it.
Jumped up already.
Yeah, yay! So the game itself is a continuation, story-wise, but not gameplay-wise, of Dreams and Shadows, which was Gordon Alfred's first game. We met Gordon in 2016. He had just released it, and we were in Essen and started playing it. And it was actually Jeff who sat down and played it, because apparently he could wander around, but I was at the booth working. So there's this great game. He's not listening. I'll get it later.
Okay.
But he played it. He's like, there's this amazing game, and it's beautiful, and the art's amazing, and we should work on publishing it, getting it for the United States. And I was okay. So fast forward, love the world, love the gameplay, love Gordon. He is one of the kindest human beings I have ever met. And so when he announced that he was doing another game in the world, but the following year he came with us to Essen, and so he was demoing the game, and we were talking about what he wanted to do, because he had already worked on an expansion. We were all working on releasing it, and I said, so do you want to continue this? He said, actually, I want to do something else in the world. And we started having a conversation and it was us, and then a couple people from Dyson Mystics, which is a gaming group in Germany, who are wonderful people and super fun to talk to, very engaging, and they were all about it. And so we started having this conversation about what would it look like? Why do you want to do something different? And from that, which was like this, like you have those conversations where you're like, if I were to do it again, I'd make this. And usually that doesn't happen. Well, with Gordon, it happened. He wanted it to be a story-driven game, and he wanted it to be from the viewpoint not of the hero, but he wanted to see what it would be like if you were a kid in this world. And so that's what he did. So these are kids. They're 12 to 15 years old, and they've been pulled into this dream world, or maybe it's the Fey world, or maybe some combination thereof. And the objective is for them is to find their way back home. So the heroes of Dreams and Shadows were fighting the monsters and trying to push them back. These kids are kids and wanting to explore. I mean, partly wanting to explore and figure out the mystery of why they're there, but mostly they want to go home. So the whole objective of the game is to find a way home, and you lose if at any point you run out of resources or are unable to find your way home, and now you're trapped in the dream.
And then you become what's considered a lost one, correct? And
then you are a lost one. And so thematically, you start on the first tile and think of it as like, so if you lose, you start over. And if you've ever had a reoccurring nightmare, it's exactly that. You always start in the same place where suddenly it triggers and you're like, I've had this dream before. But from there, it can branch out into many different ways.
Hmm.
Look at all the fancy gifts I made. I learned how to make gifts just for this. They're not that
Nice.
fancy, guys.
What's crazy though is you tried to send me a GIF of you for the social media post, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work.
Did I? I sent the wrong thing then.
Yeah, it was
It was
pretty
probably
good.
one of these that I made a mistake and I was trying to send my picture. So that's how technology.
Oh, it was good. It was good. Oh, now I need to learn how to make GIFs because I like this.
Right?
Yeah, it's really cool. So let's see here. The narrative really drives this game from your first and subsequent defeats to your first win. Hey, I know that person.
You too. Look at him.
Oh, hey. Whoa, I didn't know that we were on here.
Of course you're on there.
That's really cool. Sweet. Oh, there's Sarah. Love Sarah.
She's awesome.
Yes. Let's see. Just kind of reading through different things. And of course, Monique and Naveen.
Yeah, so we've had some great now I will say we've been doing this where we're slowly releasing reviews, which is something we always do, but it was also partially done in fact that in reaction to playtesting, we changed the entire layout of the rulebook, which pushed back the printing.
Okay.
So everybody got theirs a little bit late. But it was something that we actually felt very strongly about. In the book, here's one of the old ones. I can give you an example. Okay. So you go onto a tile, and that tile has, each tile is numbered, and then you would read the little piece, like right here, of where you are. So you go to a new area, and you observe what you see, and then you get a choice maybe to interact with whatever characters you find there. But that costs you cards. In the old rulebook, it was right below, and we found that people, not because they meant to even, were just cheating because you could kind of see what was happening next. So in the new rulebooks, we've put all of just these on one page, and then these are at the back of the rulebook so that you can switch off if you're doing solo play, because it is 1 to 4 players. So we don't want the one player experience to be like you're without meaning to. You don't mean to, but and you can see when, like, if it's a lot of text, you're like, oh, that's going to be good. Like, you can't help it. So we redid the layout for that before the Kickstarter started.
That's really cool. I like looking at, what does it say about Lost Ones? Concept started at Spiel 2017.
Yeah. That was it. That was my one picture. And by the way, it was only Gordon and I in the booth, and we were slammed. That's the only picture I got of him. I was like, oh, please let me have taken a picture.
That's a good picture.
It was a good picture, but it was literally at one point I remember thinking, oh, I should probably take a picture of our booth, and turned around and snapped a picture and then went back to doing my demo. And that's the only shot I got of the entire Essen, I think, that year. It was a busy year.
Yeah, the thing that gets me excited, I love the artwork. Who did the artwork for this?
So the artwork is the same artist who did the art of Dreams and Shadows. And you're putting me on this. It's Matt. I want to say Forsyth, but I could be wrong.
I could probably scroll down. And I bet I'd find it. Maybe not. About Us.
I do not have him up, but I have him. Actually, I know. But he did. So we actually have, and then, nope. I think it's Matt. I'm not positive. It's Matt, and it's. I promise he's in the
all
book.
Good. It's all good. The thing that excites me is I love the artwork. I love the style of the art, and the fact that there's like an art book that's an add-on or included with the deluxe copy. That's really cool. I like that a lot, because sometimes you see like beautiful artwork or beautiful games that are made, and you're just like, I would be willing to put that on my wall. Like you see Ryan Lockett's work, and you're like, oh my gosh, above and below. I mean, look at that world that he's created, and you can see it, in a poster board. You can actually get like posters of different art like that, or like when Breath of the Wild came out for the Nintendo Switch. It's like, yeah, I'll take a picture of Hyrule. Yeah, it sounds great. But this art it's really nice. I'd love to see the goal get hit, which, I mean, 13 days to go and already at 40,000. I don't picture it not hitting its goal.
I think so too. I'm really excited about it, and they've been working on it. It is Matt Forsyth. It took me a minute.
Okay.
I wasn't second guessing myself. but they so Stephen and Gordon have been working on the layout for that. Stephen Priestman, who has also worked on the game, did the layout for the art book. And the trick of it is, because we have art from Of Dreams and Shadows and The Monster Within as well, it's the same world. It's a matter of, they're like, how many pages do we have? And I'm like, oh, boys, let's talk. But it will be a very substantial art book, because there's a lot of art from all of the games. And so I am pretty excited about that as well. And I'm excited about some of the other things we have that we're going to be doing for the game itself.
Okay.
That are spoilers.
Okay, so I can't. All right, can't talk about them. Okay.
But I will, to give you a hint, there have been, it's interesting. There have been several conversations that we had already had before the Kickstarter started about additional characters.
Okay, sounds interesting.
So look for that.
Cool. Well, it looks like somebody. I think. Hopefully, we answered the question about, is solo play similar to regular play?
No, so it scales based on, because it's a cooperative game. It actually works, and it's just a scaling of your hand count depending on the number of players. The challenge in a solo play is you get to make all the decisions, so it's making sure that you're thoughtful with how you spend your hand. Because in the game, so like I showed you, to interact with a character in a space and read one of the story moments, it costs you cards from your hand, and your actions are representative of your mental and emotional abilities. So observation, strength, dexterity, having a conversation, or trying to puzzle something out. If you run out of cards, you don't automatically redraw. You have to find a resting spot or have an exchange with a character, the right character, who gives you cards in return, or replenishes your emotional state. If not, and you run out of cards, you've run out of the mental reserves to continue on, which means you are stuck in the nightmare, which means you've lost the game. So it's not an automatic redraw kind of thing. So for a solo play, making sure that you're smart about it. In a multiplayer, you have more of a collective group of cards, even though there's less cards. But any one player, if they run out of cards, one player loses cards, the game is lost, because you don't leave anybody behind. So once one person is trapped, everyone is trapped. So that's the trick of it. It balances and scales very well in that way. I think the harder part in a bigger player game is more the conversation if you're all working together or if you're not.
We're going to find out if we work well together tonight.
We are.
Yeah, we are going to have a 4-player game. It's going to be right at about 8:30 Eastern. So if you're wanting to watch that and you want to watch me become a lost one real quick, it's probably going to happen. So, yeah. But yeah, we're going to be playing that tonight. I am beyond excited about this, and I look forward to it. I took a glimpse of it. I think you were, was it last weekend you were showing it? What convention was it? Was that Oz Shucks?
I was at Shucks last weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I think you were showing it at Oz Shucks, and I think I quickly tuned in and just took a glimpse of it as it was going on. I forget how I saw it. I don't know if it was on YouTube or if it was Twitch. Probably
I was on Twitch.
Yeah.
So I was streaming directly to the Shucks Discord, and then on Twitch, we were streaming the live plays so that people could watch if they weren't attending Shucks. Although it was a free convention if you wanted to attend. So,
well, it's I have to say I do like these conventions where people don't have to pay, but they can still find ways to help. I know that was a topic that you all discussed recently on You're Invited. Was the virtual convention hasn't been helpful for publishers, hasn't been a hindrance. There's been some that have been really well done. I'll say that Renegade, I've enjoyed seeing the ones that have come from Renegade Con.
Yes.
Yeah.
Renegade runs a very good show. Renegade's also their own publisher, so they are the publisher's perspective, but they're also the publisher. So it's a little bit different for us as a publisher.
Yeah. Whereas Gen Con, a lot of people had issues with the sphere thing, the weird bubble thing that everybody's like, what the crap is this?
I'm not saying it again.
I know you're not. I'm saying it because I got to just hang out in a booth on Discord and teach games all day, and then I'm directing people to the stores. So that for me was fun. It's like, hey, did you like this game? Okay, check it out. There's a discount right now. Here, I'm going to give you the code. Here's the store link. Go to the site, purchase the game. You can get this much percentage off and free shipping, blah, 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 blah. That's kind of how we did it. Like I was working with Haba for Gen Con, and that's how T had every one of us do it.
Haba and T is amazing. She is a powerhouse, or they are a powerhouse.
Yeah, they are. Yep. They're amazing. Very true. I mean, T has such passion that it's contagious, and so when you're teaching games and you're doing it for like 12 hours out of the day, because most conventions, when we're at the conventions, usually the booths close. I mean, they open at about maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. They close at about maybe 5 or 6. So when you're doing these virtual cons, you're talking about at least 12 hours a day being open. A lot of
correct.
These, yeah.
So for Shucks, I was demoing Lost Ones both at Shucks and then at here. 36 of the 48 hours of the weekend?
Yeah.
So I didn't, and that's what you do. The strange part is that's what you do or at least that's what I do at a convention. I am there to do that. That is what the whole purpose of attending is. At a in-person convention, you kind of feed off the energy of everybody around you. It's a very different thing here because you're giving energy, but you're not feeling the energy. There's none of that palpable, like not that they're not feeling excited and everything, but it's a very different, and it's very hard to get energized because you feel like you're giving it out, but you don't feel it a lot in return, even though it very much can be and is. One example at Gen Con when we were playing Lost Ones was an exception. I demoed it. Now back at Gen Con, we were only doing like 20-minute demos. And I didn't know how it was going to go because the ticketing system and people want an event. And I set it up as, I think you could get around it by setting it up as a panel or as something where you could make it not an event so they didn't have to pay the $2. And since it wasn't a full game, I didn't want to charge anyone.
Yeah.
And the group that I played with were amazing. So I had 3 different people from 3 different parts of the world with 3 completely different backgrounds and cultural interests and references. And you could just tell they were extremely different human beings. And I didn't know each other, had all just randomly signed up to try it. And I was like, okay, here we go. And it's a fully cooperative, it's a game that's intended to be cooperative for people to work together. It rewards working together. You're putting yourself on an extreme hard mode if you decide you're going to go off and do it without everybody else.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, so this is going to last 5 minutes. It was the best game. Having somebody be like, so I'm going to go south, and then on somebody else's turn. So you get 3 actions, and your actions are to be able to move, to do the interactions, the story interactions, and pay your cards, to do your own personal ability action and tap your card and do that, or use a boon and do one of those. So it's pretty simple, your choices, but the challenging part is, where are we headed? What are we looking for? Do we know what we're looking for? Are we new to this? Or, all right, I've played this and now I kind of want to go for this thing, but there's somebody new who just wants to explore. And do I let them, or do I focus on the mission that I already tried to do and lost? So I'm waiting for that kind of tension of, well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Well, it's my turn now, so I'm going to. None of it. Absolutely none of it. There was, hey, so it's my turn. And we can keep going south because that seemed like something you were really into. Well, no, it's okay. I don't mind. I was just thinking, I just picked a location because I thought it seemed like that might be a good location to go. He's like, okay, but you seemed really into it, so I think we should keep going south. Cool, thanks. Like that was the whole, like the entire time. And then getting to the next tile south, and there's a mill, and you need cards to turn the mill, and that player didn't have the cards, but if you're on the same tile, you can collectively use the cards, and somebody else being like, well, I have them. Do you want to turn the wheel? I'll let you turn the. I mean, that seems like something that we could do. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like something like we're farmers. That'd be cool. Like the whole thing was this wonderful exchange from people who had never met, we're probably never going to see each other again, who were just so happy to like hang out with each other and work together and have an experience together. And I was like, this is why we made the game.
That's awesome. I love the fact that it works out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to myself too, like what you said is sometimes what we do is we're so used to that feeding off of other people. We're able to get reinvigorated and rejuvenated. Like we bounce into somebody that we know and we're like, oh my gosh, how have you been? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever. And it's like, whereas we're doing this digital sphere and we're not able to see them. I mean, we're right now, we're able to interact like this. But when we're doing Discard, it's like, all right, hey everybody, we're going to play this game. Hi. Hey, what's up? Where are you from? How are you doing? Good.
Well, I love I'm at work, so I can't really like those are the ones where they're like sneaking it. They're not taking the day off on a Friday. They're like,
oh my God,
I'm good. I'm at work.
Gotta keep it down.
So I'm just gonna listen, okay? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully you're not working for the Pentagon or anything, so that'd be good.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, World War IV is happening right now. Oh, hold on, wait, I've got to make this. Wait, gotta click. Okay, gotta move this little. All right. Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Right.
No, but yeah, no, I completely understand that because sometimes when I'm doing the live streaming thing too and teaching, I think to myself, okay, how do I keep the energy going and not feel drained afterwards? Because when we're so busy encouraging and pushing and striving to drive other people, sometimes we get into that mode where like we're giving of ourselves and we're going to give our whole gas tank. Our whole gas tank is full. And we're giving the whole gas tank to everybody else to keep the flame going, but then we're burning out.
Yep.
So,
oh yeah, that's a real thing.
So it's instead of it being con crud after the end of these things, instead it's just mental drain or just even like I had such a good time, like in encouraging and engaging with all these people. Now I'm in a state of depression a little bit.
Yep.
Sometimes that can come from demonstrating for a whole weekend and then just going back to normal. It's an odd feeling.
And right now I can't afford that. So
no, it's like you've got to keep going. You've got to go 110%. You got to find ways. So how do you find ways to keep yourself invigorated and going in those situations?
Well, I am super lucky that I have somebody who comes and sneaks in while I'm on a podcast and hands me fried ravioli that they fried themselves.
Thanks a lot, Robert. Gosh, where's my fried ravioli? I want one. That sounds
even though his Kickstarter started today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was it the Fabulous Five? Something 5.
The Sentinels, yeah.
Yeah, the Sentinels thing. Yeah, I know. I think we're going to try to do that one on a future stream.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're closer to Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because I think he's November.
Do you need me to help you with your schedule? I can help with
No,
I can't remember the name of my artist, but I know your schedule.
Oh, no, seriously, I kid you not. Like the way that I remember my schedule is by putting it in artistic form. So I do those little, like, you see the background here.
Yeah.
So I do the exact thing where it's like, for me, I could have it like, hey, schedule here, schedule there, and just have it like spread out and like do that type of stuff. That doesn't work for me. I am a very visual learner, and so or kinesthetic as well. So I have to create something that I can constantly update and like post or show.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Because that's how I That's how I digest everything. That's how I keep it going. And for me, it's just like, okay, who's on my schedule next? I'll look at my little Spark post that I've got here. Okay, I've got this person. Oh, I've got another one, February 9th. I've got to put that in because like I know I've got somebody on the 9th that's coming, which I've got to look at the art because I don't know off the top of my head. That's how it is.
But that's so people are who. So since I'm talking to virtual people I make a connection with are what keep me going. So, Rachel keeps me going. Rachel keeps me going. Rachel knows. Rachel's like in the running. I've now texted her on occasion when I thought I was texting Robert because she's just the top of my thread now instead of him. He's fine with this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Rachel, Jessica Cassidy, who's doing the marketing for us, but is also just one of my friends, keeps me going. FaceTiming with my nieces and nephews, who are hilarious, and just think board games are the most amazing thing, and I am the coolest aunt ever. Keep me going. Meeting Derek, Kanji Studios. He does solo plays, and he's been solo playing through Folklore, and I had no idea. And he found out I was at Chuck's and asked to play Lost Ones, and then we played 3 games. Not just him, but like he stayed for 3 games with other people playing, just so that he could play it and try to beat it and talk to me and be willing to like but then realize like other people wanted to play and try to explore. And his just joy of board gaming because he's new and board games are new to him, and he wanted to make a friend and I was happy to make a friend. That's what keeps me going. Those kinds of things. Hi.
So my favorite Canadian's on here now. So Angelica Lazary, who is just amazing. She's doing we do the monthly thing called Board Games Beyond Borders, where all we do is talk about family life and then see if she can guess the Marvel superhero if I just put it up on the screen. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. She said I was tired after demoing for Aw Shucks this weekend, and it wasn't even a lot of work. No, it's just it really can be draining being staring at a screen. I know. I did that 16-hour thing, and that was looking at the screen. Where other times I've had physical events where I'm talking to people and interacting with them at a table, and I have the top-down camera and stuff like that. But like this, it was different. So yeah, I understand. Just that feeling of being like, what? Why am I so worn out? But yeah. Let's see here. No, you need to, Jason. I kid you not, it's worth it. But yeah, Kids Planing's on here saying hello as well. Hello.
Hi.
They're going to be on with us next on Thursday when we play Campaign Trail. So
nice.
We'll work on some political voices because it's going to be the greatest. It's going to be the greatest show of the world. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to have a great time. Yeah. We're going to build a wall around Kidsplaining, and we're going to make Peyton and Jared pay for it. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So and then Angelica says that they've got a copy in the table this weekend. And Rachel says, you keep me going too, Julie. That is so true. Rachel is just awesome.
True story. Just
great interactions with her. Just straight up. And since really quickly, let me put this up here. Just for you, Kids Planning. They hate Alabama. So yeah.
I don't know what's happening there.
It's okay. It's just my way of picking on them a little bit. They're not Alabama fans. I think they're Auburn fans. And one time Daniel threatened to send me mug root beer, and I said, no. So yeah. If you can tell. Oh, they're pumped to see us play.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
Oh,
I just want you to know that I'm getting handed one at a time under the camera.
What?
I just keep I don't get
any of these things.
I just keep getting handed them.
Yeah, Kids Planning is not pleased with my thing. And Rachel can't wait to play. But you know what we have not talked about yet?
What?
That's Black Girls Code. We need to talk about that.
Yes.
So let me pull that up real quick while you enjoy those delicious fried raviolis that I am jealous about right now. All right.
I'm gonna stop. I'll shove them in my face.
No,
in between.
If
when
you
we
need
get to the game.
enjoy I don't care if you eat or not. I totally did that during the
Okay.
16-hour live stream. I had a bagel and I was like, oh, this is great. And then I think I was crunching on chips at one point. So yeah, it was good. I'm just
They're
waiting
really
for
good.
it to pop up. Let's see here. Oh, come on. Google Chrome's acting up for a second, so I've just got to be patient with
Well,
it.
okay, so Black Girls Code
Mhm.
is an organization that is working to educate Black girls from ages 7 to 17
Mm-hmm.
in STEM programs. So a lot, coding is their primary function. And to me, it was when I learned about it, I've seen other initiatives to encourage more women to go into STEM. This one specifically was amazing to me because it seems like such a no-brainer to support in the game industry when there is so much technology that we need and programming and things in the game industry. So it was super cool. And then it kind of, I remember reading about it and I remember seeing something about it on TV and donating and then circling back because Arcane Wonders for smartphones, their first sales of smartphones, they did a sale where a percentage of the sales went to Black Girls Code. So they were selling smartphone game about technology and donating back for technology.
I am all for that. I like that.
So they do a lot of really cool events. They are located in 7 different cities in the United States, and then there are other ones around the world. They actually are having one of their programs this upcoming weekend. So they do, and of course it has to be, the hard part I think right now is that it has to be local to an area. So it's in New York, LA, and Detroit are the ones being hosted, but because you need the technology, you have to come centrally to wherever they're located because they have to be, not everybody has the computer systems and the actual tech.
Yeah.
So you're going to their location. So I think it's been a hard year for them. So that's all the more reason to help support it. And in addition, they have some really awesome t-shirts. So even if you just want to go and look and then go to the Wear Us and find the really, really cool t-shirts they have to buy t-shirts, part of those sales also goes. So if you want to do something small and get yourself a nifty t-shirt, you can do that. If you want to do something bigger, absolutely consider donating to them.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, weird. I see myself on here. I'm going to take myself out and put myself in. It's so odd that it's doing this.
Could I try screen sharing?
I don't know if it's going to do it or not. Let me check.
All right.
Let's see here. I'm going to take myself out.
Now it's just me. Hi, everybody. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to screen share. Nope.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's not allowing it. I don't know what's going on with my Google Chrome, but at least I'm on here this way.
Well, it's really easy to find. blackgirlscode.com.
.com. Yep, let me put it on here too. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I hear myself echo. So weird. Hello.
I'm just excited that for the first time in a long time, I'm not the technology problem.
Oh,
super psyched about that.
When we did our 16-hour thing, that was brutal. We my hearing in my headphones completely out during almost 30 minutes of a game. And I'm saying, can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Everybody could hear me. I couldn't hear anybody else.
You couldn't hear everybody going, yes. Why do you keep asking?
There we go. Yeah, Black Girls Code. Rachel's having a good laugh at this.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Rachel. Wild stuff. Yeah, no, Black Girls Cut. I love the idea that it's getting people back into. It's so weird because I hear my echo as I say it, but it's like getting people back into the idea of getting involved with technology, and that it's not just a boys thing, and it's not just a white suburban nerdy guy living in California.
Well, so in general, I think that's something that the social consciousness for a long time has been that is the default, and that's part of the reason why it's perpetuated. I love the fact that we're starting to push that, and every time we hit a goal, being like, nope, that's not enough. Now we can push a little further, and now we can push a little further, and now we can push a little further, so that everybody's invited. Well, I like the name of our show. You're invited. Everybody's invited. But to do that and actively make sure that young women know that they're invited, that they can make space to do something like this, is huge. From my own personal experience, and even having the advantages that I do, knowing that I had to push to be invited to that D&D group when I was younger. And he's gone now. I don't know what's happening again. To push being taken seriously in the industry. At conventions, having people come up and talk to every single one of my demoers who was a guy before they came to talk to me. So making space is important. And also, this is very strange to do as a monologue. I don't know what's happening. So, I've got Rachel laughing. Since you are listening, maybe you can message me privately and ask me some questions, because I don't know what else to do here. Chrome has died on the Charity Board Gamer. As far as I know, it's still live, so I'm still talking. And there he is. He's back. I can't hear you at all.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Hey, everybody, technology. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
I was saying some very profound things, man, and you just disappeared.
I was listening the whole time. I don't know why you stopped talking about Black Girls Code. Okay, so now it's easier for me to hear. No, I think it's very important that we start back. Yeah, I'm back now. But it says audio's off. Okay. All right. Audio's back. Good. No, I think it is very important, because we're talking about like getting people into that understanding that technology should be inclusive. Technology should be something that helps people move forward, progress, and continue to be able to be a part of everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important. We had somebody that's here in West Virginia who actually is very much an advocate for STEM. She lives over in California now. I forget her name. She had a show on Amazon for a while. I think she's got a show now on Netflix, but it's completely a science-based show. And she's got some books that are science-based, and she's encouraging people to learn STEM and STEAM. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's nice to see organizations that are trying to make things inclusive, especially when we're talking about 2020 has been definitely an example of what we are far from done with topics like systemic racism. We're far from done with talking about issues of inclusivity. We're far from done with talking about just these things. It's like the 1960s.
Conversely, Black Girls Code, we're in more of a need of having outlets like what we're doing now, and programming and technology capability, so that we can still connect and companies can still operate
Yeah.
even more than before. So,
Yeah, I mean, and here we have just one of our. This is basically a computer in your hand. This right here, and this is one of the best ways for us to, a lot of people to communicate and be able to interact and get to, do all these things, and for people to be able to work on these things. I mean, how many iPhones are there in the course of a year? At least one a year. Somebody works on applications, or maybe they work on C++. Maybe they're working on JavaScript. Maybe they're working on HTML.
Right.
For me, I'm a SQL guy, so I love SQL. But, understanding all those different languages, binary for crying out loud. I mean, understanding your ones and zeros. The idea of having these outlets is a great thing. I think it's important that we have these outlets, and I love it that you wanted to talk about this topic, because I had a blast talking about it with Mandy, and now I get to talk about it again, and I enjoy talking technology, because coming from a music background, going into restaurant management, and then actually finally getting my master's in the IT field, where I should have gone in the beginning.
Fair, yeah.
But, just the understanding of, okay, this is something that is not going to go away. And we're dealing with right now COVID-19, where we are trying to find different ways to connect. Zoom, StreamYard, BeLive, Google Hangouts, Google, the other thing about that Google does.
Messenger.
Yeah, Messenger.
Discord.
Discourse. Oh, yeah. Slack. Some people still use Slack.
Right.
Yeah. So no longer MySpace, though. I feel bad for Tom. But yeah. No. Yeah.
Oh, take a moment. Take a moment. Just a moment of silence for MySpace. And go.
And of course, Twitch. I mean, Twitch Sings, where we got to hear you sing I Think I'm Paranoid by Garbage. So I don't know if you noticed when I put on my story post today, I put your picture in the story, and I had the actual I Think I'm Paranoid by Garbage just starting to play in the background. So, but yeah, I did. I had it playing. So it's like, tonight, I think I'm paranoid. So yeah. Oh, Jared just started learning coding this year for school. Yeah. I mean, this is stuff that even when high school, we weren't like learning this stuff really. I mean, I grew up with a 486 and then a 586 and stuff like that.
I did.
You did?
I learned basic programming starting in the 5th grade.
I'm jealous.
I didn't realize like it was something that we all just learned. It was at the school I was at. It was something that the introductory class everybody took, and then if you liked it, you could pursue it. And I was like, meh. And now that I'm older, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
I learned like hacking in DOS. That's how I learned back on my computer, and I'll leave that.
No. I mean, I had it was basic programming, and I had the little turtle.
Yeah. No, I seriously, I learned I mean, there are some computer things that you learn in school, like, of course, typing and everything. And, of course, you get to learn the Oregon Trail, which was one of my favorite games. I mean, I always would put cheese and pepperoni on my tombstone.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's the way it should be. But, yeah, no, just technology is not going away. And COVID seems like it's not right now going, I mean, for the most part yet, until people start wearing masks and start listening. Sorry. I'll leave that at that one. But yeah, just the idea of making these outlets available so that way we can have better technology to have these things that people need. I mean, it makes sense. You are fluent in Zynga. That's as much HTML as I can do. Nice. No, I learned my stuff not from college or even from high school. I learned it or even from elementary. I just seriously, I spent my time on the computer learning it all for kind of like for myself. I would just basically
well, and that's the beautiful thing about technology as well, is that it is accessible. You can learn it. There's plenty of people out there who will give you the information.
Oh yeah.
Tabletop simulator. Programming,
oh my gosh.
You can program. Nobody does it, but you can. I'd say nobody does it, but Mr. Ravioli does it.
Yeah, Mr. Ravioli needs to send some pasta my way.
Yeah,
but he also
that's what he was before he was in the Um, it, so you can ask him all about that. But so you ask when he's on,
Mm-hmm.
ask him to show you his game room and tabletop simulator that he
Okay.
coded. It's a game room. There are calyxes that are games on the shelves, and one of the table toppers on the table, and his own chairs that he stuck in there that aren't any of the ones that you get to select in the game. His room it's like somebody set up a game room. He programmed it all so that when you're playing, it's like you're at a game table in somebody's like rec room in their
That's
house.
really cool. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That sounds really neat. And so
It's super neat, but also
so
I'm like,
you-
what are you doing? It's 1 a.m. as he's coding.
So can you click on the game on the Kallax and then it automatically opens up the game?
No, you click on the games in the calyxes, and it will take you to the Arcane Wonders store so that you can purchase that game.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
nice. That's good. That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's super fancy.
I like that a lot. So it was this. I was hardcore live journal. Nice.
Nice.
Craziness. Oh, so if you've enjoyed any of this, or the fact that I completely popped out at one point, froze, and then came back in, yeah.
Or watching me eat fried ravioli.
I mean, the fried ravioli was pretty good, but I mean, seriously, the conversation about Newport News, that was I think one of my favorite things, truly. Because it's true. I mean, you think about it, we get to talk when you meet somebody and you have something that's a common interest. I mean, of course, we have board games, charities are great, everything, but then when you actually have somebody that's like, hey, I lived in the same area that you did.
Yeah.
And then you can actually talk about, okay, yeah, Menchville High School, or I could say Warwick, or I could say Virginia Beach area, or Sandbridge, if you know the Virginia Beach area very well. Because Sandbridge, we're not going to talk about it too much, but it's kind of a hidden area of Virginia Beach that, yeah, it's nice. It's wonderful. Don't go there. So
you mean what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
Never mind.
No,
Nothing.
no,
Look over here. Oh, shiny.
Yeah, go to the boardwalk. The boardwalk's a lot of fun during the summer. No. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Or like Busch Gardens, just talking about Busch Gardens. I want to go on a roller coaster so bad. Like we were in Williamsburg and I'm thinking to myself, honey, can we go to roller coasters? She's like, no, we only have a day. But yeah, seriously, we did day 1, Gettysburg, day 2, DC, day 3, Williamsburg. It was
having lived down there and having done all of those, not in one March.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, DC, we kind of knew what we wanted to see, and we knew what was closed. I mean, Smithsonian, I think, is basically right now just quiet for the most part because of COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Washington Monument, we got the tickets ahead of time so we could go up. And so DC was, we had that structured. Williamsburg and Newport News and everything, that was kind of not structured. I was hoping to see my grandfather. He's 101 years old. And he is just now this guy up to 100, working out at the gym at least twice a week, going golfing at least once a week, hitting on girls 70 years younger than him. That's of course when you're the sweet old guy and he's like, you're very pretty. And it's like, okay. But yeah, that's my granddaddy. He's 100 years old. And like being compared to people that are 30 years younger than his age for his health. Like he's in amazing health. Well, his health just started to deteriorate. And so we went down to go see him, but he had to have some hospice, or not hospice, but he had to have somebody, a nurse basically said that nobody could visit that day because he was dealing with an infection. And so it's like,
right. And again, COVID, you have to be careful about.
Yeah. So
That's
like,
tough.
I'm like, yeah. So one day I was like, no, I wanted to see him, but I kid you not, this guy would ride roller coasters with me when he was in his 90s. We would go to Busch Gardens and he would ride, we'd ride the Loch Ness Monster. We'd go on Alpengeist. We would hit the Big Bad Wolf when the Big Bad Wolf was open. He would do it all. That's how he was.
The Big Bad Wolf.
Oh gosh.
Bad Wolf.
He was amazing. That's just kind of, that's kind of was. But yeah, Newport News, love the area. Did you ever go to a place called Papa George's?
Yeah.
Okay, we had to hit Papa George's because that is the place. That's the place to go. You know, if you go to Newport News, you have to stop at Papa George's. They close at 3 p.m., so
Yep.
you have to go during the morning time. Get a breakfast. Seriously, get a large fry, a steak sandwich, or go for the steak and eggs. Ask for them to switch out the toast with French toast, and they'll do what is it? They'll do French fries instead of the hashed brown potatoes for you. They used to call that the daddy-daughter breakfast because I would take my daughter there every once a week. I think it was like every Friday, and the staff that are there are still there. The owner no longer is the owner there anymore. He dealt with cancer, but he's still alive. But he's right now he's
retired.
He finally retired. Awesome guy, awesome family, great place. But yeah, I know I'm talking about good food, good family. Like one of my favorite. Did you ever
I
go
like
to
the cheese shop.
Oh, the cheese shop. Did you ever go to Stephen John's when that was open? Stephen John's. There's like all these Greek style American restaurants like Stephen John's and Sammy's Steak Den and Steve's and the Nick's and like there's all.
I know, yeah, there's that whole strip. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
I was like the small the cheese shop because that was back when I could eat cheese. God, I miss cheese.
Lactose intolerant now, or
I'm allergic.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yep. So these ravioli are actually spinach and fake cheese.
Oh.
They have been deep fried, so that I could get that extra fat back in.
Okay. I didn't know. Oh
yeah. Oh yeah. So we're a vegan household here.
Okay.
Not entirely by choice.
No, that's completely understandable. We for the longest time had a lot of things that we kind of planned out food wise with our middle child because of allergies, because he had allergies to eggs, dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish, and fish. Mm-hmm. He's grown out of all of them except for eggs and peanuts and some of the tree nuts. So pistachios, scary. But yeah, so we kind of had different diets, and then Beth, my wife, she's got some allergies to different things. So, and she's on a special health regimen because of her health, which we had a couple scares not too long ago. But yeah, so there's some things that we fix in the house. There's some things that we can't fix in the house just because of safety and health. Nobody wants to take a hospital visit. Even though I work as a IT type person in a hospital, a visit to the hospital other than for work,
no, you don't.
It's not fun.
It's not
fun. No, don't get me wrong. Cafeteria food, amazing, but that's because we have some of the best cooks, I think, in that cafeteria. They're consistent, which in a hospital, if you can get consistent hospital food, you're good because you won't get good consistency at a lot of restaurants. So I don't know. That's just me. Newport News. I have too much fun. Yeah. No.
Or the death by chocolate at the trellis.
Oh, yes. The trellis. Yes. What was the other place? Gosh, there's... When you were in Williamsburg, when you were there, were there like ridiculous numbers of pancake houses?
Yes, everywhere.
Oh my gosh. It's
everywhere.
Still the same. I think they added 2 the last time we were there. So...
They just multiply, but which makes sense. You're at a, family friendly, and there's because it's lower budget hotels, so people can go to Busch Gardens or the historic stuff, or it's families visiting because their kid is at college, and so the pancake houses are kind of the way to go. It's a cost-effective thing.
Me, I prefer to go down to Virginia Beach, stay in a hotel nearby the ocean front during the fall and the winter season because it's not as packed and the costs are so much lower than the summertime if you can. And
there's some really cool things like especially up through Christmas at Colonial Williamsburg, they do some amazing events.
Yeah, the lights on the boardwalk, that's a big one. And then of course in York, not Yorktown, but it's the Newport News Park, the Christmas lights. Did you ever go to that?
Oh my god. Every year. And why are the penguins' eyes red?
I don't
Why
know.
are they red?
I don't know.
Oh my! And it's so like you could get like a coupon or a Groupon, so it'd be like $5 and pile everybody in the car and then just ride around, and it's like intense because you're
It
driving
is.
through a park that is on a road, like the road through the park, and it's super long, and
And they have it
it's
synced. It's synced usually with the radio station now.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you turn on the radio, and the whole place is jam packed with all these Christmas lights, but the theme always, like, they have these penguins that are supposed to be like the mascot. I'm not sure why, but they have red eyes.
Yeah.
So there are red-eyed penguins everywhere, and of course, me being the goth queen that I am, have made entire theories and stories about what that's about. None of it.
I am interested in hearing these stories. Well, it is 8:20. I can't believe we have talked this long about everything, which is amazing. And we're about to talk even more about this amazing game we're about to play. But we have to get ready to play it.
Yes, we
so
do.
we're gonna hop off here, and I'm gonna quickly play us out. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. If you want to watch in about 9 minutes now, we're going to be playing Lost Ones, which is currently funded on Kickstarter. I put the link in the description, and I also put it in the link in the chat. But yeah, I've just enjoyed this conversation. So,
yay! Thanks,
and
everybody.
of course we got to learn how sometimes technology doesn't work in your favor. So, Google Chrome, Google, you disappointed me today. I know you had some antitrust issues today with government, but you didn't have to take it out on me, Google. So, all right. Yeah.
Bye.
I'll see you later. Bye. We are go. We'd like to also thank The Op for sponsoring tonight's live stream. One of our favorite games for them currently is Hues and Cues, which is in stores